gorgeous moon. It's really, really clear tonight. I'm not sure if the iPad camera is picking that up, but with my eyes and my heart it looks fantastic. The energies of April and this first week in May for me have been so intense, chaotic, challenging, tough, painful. And yet, my soul perspective is very calm and has a deep knowing that the old programs, the old third dimensional realities that up until this point we've been living and playing out, we can't bring them any further now. It's like the latest computer. You can't put the old software into the new computer package. It just doesn't work. So that's what I feel is happening for many of us, and I've spoken to many of you. Those of you who are very sensitive and very conscious of the spiritual path. And many are being very, what feels like tested and challenged in the last few weeks. But I felt my angels say that to get through April was really good, because it means things are just going to get easier now. I always find my birthday overwhelming, ever since I was a little girl. And I later found out that the sun comes back into the place it was at your birth on your birthday. So that's why people often feel tired or emotional around their birthday. But this year was absolutely, it was like, instead of just having to evaluate the past 12 months, which every birthday I always feel that. I feel my spirit say, okay, what did you learn the past year? You know, integrate those lessons now. Digest them. And that's fine. I'm very aware and very willing to do the work. That's the work, you know. We need to integrate all our mistakes, all our lessons. It's about being thankful, being humble, and seeing the past 12 months for all the magic and the tragedy and everything that it was. But this year was especially overwhelming, and I felt that it's like my spirit guides were like, okay, so we're going to give you double trouble coming up to this birthday, and you're going to have twice the challenges that you usually do. And that's because we are now in the fifth dimension and we are living out these new frequencies, and never before on Earth have we gone this far without resetting the whole thing. So this is all an experiment with our human family, and we wish you all the best. And it was really like that. I felt so unsupported. I felt so alone. I felt almost invisible. It was like it all just came and went, and it was pushing me until I just had to fall off the cliff, so to speak. And there's a liberation in falling off the cliff then. I just held out my arms and let the wind catch me, and yeah, it's been interesting to say the least. And what's happening now for many of us is we've entered this empty space. We've had to clear out the old patterns, the old stories that we've been telling up to this point in our lives. The stories that we really feel are the fabric of who we are, but it's just not true. That's just the story. That's just the experience and adventure of this lifetime, of this chapter. And in the fifth dimension, those stories don't fit. And they don't match up to the new, shiny versions of who we are becoming as we absorb and digest these new energies, these new ascension frequencies. So a lot of you have been saying to me, you just feel empty, you feel despondent, there's an apathy about you, and we've all been feeling it, and it's just part of the bottoming out. We're in the void right now. We're in this very, as I said, empty, clear space. And the thing is, the ego doesn't like that. The ego likes the story. It likes to attach to the pain and to attach to the pain body and activate all those very, very limiting beliefs about ourselves. But the fifth dimension won't have it. Because the fifth dimension is about creating your version of heaven, your version of paradise, what you really long for as a joyful life, whatever that is. It's about fleshing it out, bringing it down to earth, planting the seeds, tending to it and watching it grow. And that's the work. And these new seeds don't match the old story, the old self. So for me, it's like it's been a bit of a death. I feel like there's a grief in me of the old self, the old Aveen. As much as I love her, I can see her flaws, I can see all her faults, and I can see that it's time to let that burn away and just let that die, let that part of me rest in peace. And I feel like I'm coming out the other side of that void, that clear, empty space. And remember, you have to leave room and space for new things to grow, for new energies, new connections, new experiences, new work, new pathways. But it's very important that we clear the path we're presently on to lead from that alignment, to lead from those frequencies. So be kind to yourself. The emptying out process can be painful, but it's so worth it, because we're just releasing the old story. We're letting go of those heavy, negative, denser, three-dimensional versions of ourselves that just don't apply here. It's not valid in your new life, in your new frequencies. Be gentle to others, be kind to yourself and others, knowing that we're all facing our own challenges. You know, you don't know what's behind a smile on someone, you don't know what they're going through. We're all feeling it in our own very individual, deeply spiritual ways. But most importantly, love yourself through this process, and it is a process. And just like the seed underneath the earth, in the darkness, it has to find the strength to push through the ground and want to reach up into the the sunlight so that it can grow and blossom into a flower or a fruit or whatever it wants to become. It's the very same process here. You will find the strength, but just right now, just surrender to it. Allow the emptiness. Your ego won't want that. Your ego will want to fill it with a story. But you've got to be firm. You've got to be disciplined with yourself and say to your ego, no. It's just emptiness. I'm making room. I'm making space for new life, new energies. It's all part of the journey. Right, blessings.